What's going on YouTube? JT's Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Night Terrors issue number 2. This one, of course, is written by Joshua Williamson with the art by Giuseppe Camuncoli. I apologize, Stefano Nessi and Casper Wingard. I don't know. I apologize. And colors by Frank Martin and Casper Wingard and Troy Peteri. I apologize. I probably butchered all those names. So, sorry. But anyway, so this is issue 2 of the main Night Terrors series. I mean, we had like First Blood. We've been going on. This is week 4 right now. This is the end of month number 1 of this particular event within DC Comics. And yeah, like this is the stuff that should. If you're going to read Night Terrors, just read stuff written by Joshua Williamson. You don't necessarily have to have read anything else. I haven't read today's other issues yet. I'm just trying to get this video out, and then I'll try and read stuff and get back to posting more videos later on. It's just tiresome when you have so many comics you have to read in a short amount of time. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about this one overall. Overall, I guess this issue itself I thought was fine. At least we get some more information about Insomnia. It feels more important to the overall story. The artwork is very nice. We get Wesley Dodds here, aka Sandman. We get a little bit of backstory into like his knowledge of the Nightmare Stone. Deadman, of course, is still possessing Batman. And by the end of it, it ends on a bit of an interesting cliffhanger. So let's go ahead and summarize what happens in this issue. Once again, artwork is really fantastic throughout. All the Night Terrors issues pretty much so far have had really strong looking artwork. So basically in this particular issue, we learned Wesley Dodds' connection to the Nightmare Stone, if you will, about how some evil cult tried to manifest its power. He interrupted it and one person died, and before the stone could really become fully realized, it kind of vanished off somewhere. And so he's kind of obsessed with this case. And then we find a descendant of the man who I think was the one who kind of died during that whole Wesley Dodds Sandman thing. And Insomnia visits him within a dream, trying to find out where the Nightmare Stone is. And much like A Nightmare on Elm Street, where if you die in the dream, you die for real. So we get something like that here, and where he shoves coins in some guy, and then they kind of explode out of him. I don't know. That felt like a cool looking Nightmare on Elm Street death. So I like that aspect to it. Then Deadman and Sandman, they head out to Terrific Tech, Red Tornado's trying to find out where all the remaining heroes are at. Insomnia is like, somebody find Deadman, because as we know, Insomnia and Deadman are still kind of linked to each other, because Deadman went into his little nightmares, if you will. They head to Terrific Tech. A lot of characters are still kind of out and about, and they do find out that the longer that they're asleep, the harder it's going to be for everyone to wake up. So they're on a bit of a time crunch with this whole crazy situation with Night Terrors and all that. So it's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. We're 1 month into this particular event, and a lot of stuff has happened. Well, more so in the main books. The other stuff's kind of like more like side stories that you don't necessarily have to read, but it is what it is. So anyway, so we do find out a little bit of background onto who Insomnia was. We find out his name is somebody named Mr. Lucas. He was a patient at Arkham Asylum. He saw the Justice League were alive, and he kind of snapped and like broke. So a little bit of intrigue and mystery, wondering about who this guy is. And I feel like Mr. Lucas may be an alias for something else. He could potentially be another character we've already seen in DC Comics. It's just a matter of we don't really know who it's going to be. So yeah, so he's off, he's doing his thing. They kind of forcibly keep him asleep, and that in essence, they kind of tortured him at the Arkham Tower, if you will, or Arkham Asylum, or whatever it was, and just kind of kept him unconscious and at bay this entire time. And before he could get any more information, Deadman was kind of like taken out, if you will, of his dreams. And when they're back in the waking world, he sends the Sleepless Knights, and I guess that includes Red Tornado and a few other characters, to take care of Deadman and Wesley Dodds. So yes, that is the issue in a nutshell. There's some pretty creative looking artwork here. I like the whole coin death thing. It feels right out of A Nightmare on Elm Street. I think visually it's still interesting to look at, even if these stories don't really feel necessary to this massive event. They're at least visually interesting with the whole horror aspects. I just think it's a bit much for one particular event. I mean, we're 1 month into this thing, and the majority of the issues, if you skipped out on them, you're generally going to be okay. So if you have to read anything, just look for the name Joshua Williamson, and those ones feel more important, because the other ones just feel like, you know what, just have a little bit of fun with the side story and characters in a nightmare world. That's pretty much it in essence. Although some issues, if they're, I think, written by the people who work on the main series, try to add it into like the ongoing stuff and try and build upon it. So it is what it is, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, this issue itself overall, like I thought it was fine, sufficient. Is it my favorite issue of Night Terrors? No, not really. But I think it's a serviceable one for part 2 of however many. I mean, Night Terrors, between Night Terrors 1 and 2, although they had First Blood. I don't know. The naming of these issues always kind of gets me, because it's like, oh, here's the prelude to the main story written by Sandman, but then here's the real number 1. But is it really the real number 1? But this is the real number 2? I don't know. That always kind of confused me, reading comics in general. But if you're reading Night Terrors, this is one that I guess you'll want to read for the more important aspects of the story, to get a little bit of background into Insomnia and find out a little bit of information about him and the main ongoing story with Deadman. So yeah, little scattershot here. I thought the issue itself was, fine, not amazing, not my favorite issue of Night Terrors by any means, but at least we get some information and it feels more important to the story. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about this particular issue. I'll be back later on today to start covering more of the issues. I haven't actually read them yet, but I also have to go to work. So I will talk to you all later. Let me know what you thought of this particular issue in the comment section down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, all the other fun stuff. And I will see you all later on. I think next up is Night Terrors Action Comics. Then it's Angel Breaker. Then it's Detective Comics. Then it's Harley Quinn. And then I think it's Titans. I may have missed something, but those are in essence all the issues I'm going to be covering today. So be on the lookout for all those, and hopefully I'll be able to get them all done today. If not, then you'll probably see them all tomorrow. I might just rapid fire review them, but I still have to go and read them. So yeah. All right, well, that's all I have to say. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.